to appoint Public Defender's Office, please, on Mr. Chamorro.
Okay.
Mr. Huffman, if you're there, there is an individual on today's docket, Hector Chamorro, that I'm going to be appointing the Public Defender's Office. We're set for probation status hearing. Not super complex, but I'll give you obviously time to get up to speed.
Thank you, Judge.
Are we on, Mr. Nunez? Yes. Good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210 District Court criminal docket for April 29th, 2025. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all directives regarding remote proceedings. Additionally, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. I'll go ahead and call our first jail docket case today. Cause numbers 2019-0D06766, 2023-0D08498. 2023-0D02117, 2024-0D04235, 2023-0D02115, 2020, oh, that's the last one. All cases style the state of Texas versus Victor Dennis. May I have announcements, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Erin Delaney Matney for the state. The state is ready.
Jim Darnell for Victor Dennis. We're ready, Your Honor.
For purposes of the record, the proceedings being held remotely over Zoom as Mr. Darnell, in case I didn't explain or to you earlier, we had some health concerns with transport of inmates that has been resolved, but I had already moved our final hearing plea deadlines to the jail docket. So thank you for accommodating that change. All but one of these cases is set for final hearing plea deadline. So I have my one probation case, and are we set for trial this week?
We are, Your Honor.
Let me make a trial date. I thought this was one where we didn't. No, we do. We have our trial setting. So, Miss Matney, I think this one's been pending and you've probably have your rec memorized. What's the rec?
Yes, Your Honor. The rec is 25 TDC to dispose of the revo and all of the pending cases, which don't carry quite as high a penalty range. And that would include the declination of other cases that are presented to our office but not yet indicted, and a probation recommendation for the defendant's wife on her case. So that is my recommendation. Mr. Darnell and I have spoken, and he said he needed some time to speak with his client. I have left that recommendation open for a deadline of May 9th. After that, that will no longer be offered, and I'm going to go forward on indicting all the other cases. If this will be a trial, the state would respectfully request a special setting because there will be so many witnesses to line up, and or if the court is amenable handling the contested revo first, which I think would dispose of all the other cases.
Well, okay. Mr. Darnell?
Okay, yes, Erin is right that we have been talking. I thought we were going to be in person today, and so I was going to visit. I have spoken with Victor Dennis, but I need to speak with him again. We are still trying to work this out, so we would ask that this Friday's hearing be postponed. I would agree with Erin that we probably need a special setting, but I am hopeful that we can make some progress and get this to be resolved.
So they have a deadline on that rec of May 9th. So this is what I'm going to do. You're correct. We were going to be in person. We are not. So I am going to reset today for Tuesday. Since I no longer have concerns about transport, Tuesday puts us at May 6th. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have a couple of places for special settings very soon, like certainly before the end of July. And I will be looking to those in the event that this case does not get resolved. I also have held off in the past. I know Mr. Darnell, he had Mr. Ortiz representing him for a long time on moving forward on that revo in the event that I cannot get you all to trial. But I think if we need to go there, you're looking at a trial in the next 2 months. So just as a heads up, we will see you on Tuesday in person. It'll be at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Tuesday at 10 on all of those. Okay, Mr. Melendez, were you here on Mr. Dennis?
No, I'm in the case of Chamorro.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Thank you. Thank you, Annex. Who's next, Mr. Nunez?
Judge, next we have on page 14, Medina Marcos for Mr. Huffman. It's a plea.
Okay. I had a question on this one on Medina. Was it a dismissal of 3951? Because I did not see plea papers for that case.
That was my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay. All righty. So Annex, if I could have Marcos Medina, please?
Is
Thank
that, I
you.
mean, is that right, Mr. Martinez?
Let's see here.
There's two like that on this docket, Ivan. It is Marcos Medina and then Hector Perez. Each of those did not say dismissal on the plea paperwork, but we only received plea paperwork for one case. So I kind of assume they're dismissals, but I don't.
And that was my understanding, Judge.
Okay,
Um,
that was the agreement.
let me see if there's something that reflects that in an email or something. I know, Mr. on Hector Perez, Judge, I just brought it up to Mr. Garcia in person, and I asked him, because it's a possession,
Mhm.
and I asked him if that would be dismissed, and he said yes. So I
That
don't
one made sense to me. This one, we know we were dismissing an AFV, which is not unheard of, but
Well, we've got a non-pros that basically changes the story from but I mean that was the deal, Judge. I just want to see if there's something that
go ahead. Mr. Nunez, let's bring in Mr. Siegel so we can get him out of the way here.
Ma'am.
We'll have him checked in and tell him to contact his attorney. Mr. Siegel, are you there? Oh, he's connecting. Mr. Siegel, if you can hear me, your attorney was here this morning. Are you there? Well, look at that. Mr. Siegel, we had you checked in, okay? Can you hear me? I don't know that we have a great connection.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so thank you for attempting to
Yes.
check in, but I had already communicated with your attorney. I'll just refer you back to your attorney. Mr. Siegel, I have you checked in. Please just contact your attorney. Let's go ahead and remove him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to Mr. Medina. Is that right? Mr. Medina, that's you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. So
And
yeah, I'm seeing here that there was a wreck on the assault, the felony assault case.
I just sent you the email from Jose to I'm sorry from Eric to Jose, and Jose forwarded it to me, and it says in there dismissing the two other cases. If you look a little bit down a little bit, the email I just sent you, Ivan. Eric-
That's fine. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the deal. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, let's go for it. Are you ready, Mr. Medina?
Yes, ma'am.
Calling cause number 2025-0D00023, State of Texas versus Marcos Daniel Medina. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Rick Huffman for Mr. Medina.
For purposes of the record, we are conducting this proceeding over Zoom, and Mr. Medina, I did have an agreement, a written agreement from you to do this plea over Zoom. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that you could do this in person. You have a right to do this in person, but by signing the waiver, you're agreeing to waive that right and do this on Zoom. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's get started with your plea, sir. Wait, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Please state your name and date of birth for the record.
My name is Marcos Daniel Medina, and my date of birth is 08/26/1992.
Mr. Medina, I did receive paperwork from your attorney. The first document is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in your case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Medina, do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney before you signed that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Medina, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Huffman, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his plea?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Medina, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, ma'am.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
I've been to UPH. I've seen
Okay.
doctors. Yeah.
Okay, are there any, so you probably have some type of mental health diagnosis. Is there anything that is diagnosed or anything else that you are feeling today that is preventing you from understanding what we're doing?
No, ma'am. I understand.
Have you been able to communicate with your attorney and ask all the questions you needed to ask about today's plea and the possibility of going to trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't have any outstanding questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Huffman, no concerns about your client's competency?
No, Your Honor.
So for purposes of today's hearing, based on my observations of you, your attorney's representations, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you born?
Here in El Paso, Texas.
Okay, in this case, you were charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 or 1B in an amount less than 1 gram. To that charge, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Mr. Martinez, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor, had this case gone to trial, the state would have proven each and every one of the elements as alleged in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt. The state would move to introduce into evidence States Exhibits 1 and 2.
No objection.
States 1 and 2 are admitted, States 2 being the 3914 disclosures. What is the plea agreement?
State is recommending that in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty, that he be sentenced in accordance with the provisions of Section 1244A, be sentenced to 141 days in the county jail, credit for time served.
I'm sorry, how many days?
141.
Okay, Mr. Huffman, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is with the understanding that 2024 0D03951 will be dismissed.
Okay. Mr. Medina, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It's a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Medina, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. Give me 1 second. Okay. I will find you guilty of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 or 1B in an amount less than 1 gram. And I will sentence you in accordance with the plea agreement and 1244A of the Texas Penal Code to 141 days confinement in the El Paso County Detention Facility. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. I will also sign a dismissal in cause number 2024 0D03951 once I receive it. Anything further, Mr. Martinez or Mr. Huffman?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Mr. Medina.
Can I ask a question?
Who, me?
Yeah, do I have anything pending now or?
There's a misdemeanor that
Oh.
I've got to get sorted out, but hopefully
Okay.
tomorrow I'll get that sorted out, okay?
Okay, thank you,
Or maybe this afternoon. I'm gonna try.
Thank you.
thank you.
Who's next, Mr. Nunez?
Judge, you see the downtown has Alan Razoa for Mr. Huffman. It's also, I'm sorry, Hector Perez. I'm sorry, Annex. My mistake, Judge. Annex, can I get Hector Perez, please?
Yes.
It's a plea for Mr. Huffman
Mm-hmm.
on page 15.
So in this one, Rick, I saw that there was mobile and interlock. Does your guy, well, let me ask this first. Is this a true third?
No, I don't believe so. I'm sorry, Judge. I have to double check that.
I don't remember. I do remember your client. He doesn't need an interpreter.
No.
Okay. I do remember the circumstances, right? He had the DWI. He was kind of MIA for a minute, and then he picks up the possession, right?
Right.
So no, I don't remember if it was a true third or not. I feel like it was not, but here's the thing. On the conditions, I show both a portable unit and an interlock. But I'm not inclined to allow him to operate a motor vehicle. And when I thought about that, I was like, well, I don't even know if he has a driver's license, a valid driver's license. So, does he?
Judge, Mr. Perez, can I ask Mr. Perez, do you have a valid driver's license right now?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay.
So what I'm letting your attorney know, Mr. Perez, is that you're not allowed to drive. I don't normally let DWI third probationers operate a motor vehicle until they can show me that they can be compliant. You need to know that if you don't have a driver's license, you can't be driving anyway. So it's going to be part of his conditions, Mr. Huffman. If you think you need to speak with him about that before we go forward with the plea, I am not going to order the interlock. The interlock would be if I was allowing him to drive. So I'm just going to order the portable unit. Okay?
Do you understand?
Yes, sir,
Mr.
I do.
Perez?
Yes, sir, I
Okay.
do.
Can't drive.
Okay.
That's fine.
And
That's fine.
if the circumstances change, like in a year or two, let us know, okay?
Okay,
Mr. Perez, what will happen is sometimes once individuals get their driver's license or have a need to drive, you work with probation on that and they come to me and we look at it, okay?
okay, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Are you all ready to get started then on the plea? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. This is cause number 2023 0D03820, State of Texas versus Hector Perez. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Rick Huffman for Mr. Perez.
For purposes of the record, we are conducting these proceedings over Zoom remotely. Mr. Perez, this is a plea. You are entitled to do this in person here in the courtroom, but I did receive a waiver, a written waiver from you to allow us to do this over Zoom. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, to get started with your plea, I need to swear you in. Raise your right hand, please. Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Would you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
Hector Perez, 09/28/1968.
Mr. Perez, I have documents. The first document is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in your case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Perez, did you review State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney before you signed that document?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Mr. Huffman, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Mr. Huffman, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his plea?
No reason at all, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
So based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Where were you born?
Here in El Paso, Texas.
In this case, you were charged by indictment with driving while intoxicated, third or more offense. To that charge, sir, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, ma'am.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am, freely.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Mr. Martinez, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Had this case gone to trial, the state would have proven each and every one of the elements as alleged in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt. The state would move to introduce into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and 2.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 1 and 2 are admitted to being the 3914 disclosure. What's the plea agreement?
State is recommending that in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty to the case as charged, he be sentenced to 10 years TDC, but said sentence be probated for 10 years. He be assessed a $4,000 fine, 2,000 of which probated, be assessed 300 hours of community service, either the mobile unit or the interlock or both, whichever the court feels is best, 10 days in jail as a condition, VIP, DWI repeat offender school, the other standard DWI terms.
Mr. Huffman, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bettis, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And there's a dismissal, right, on 2025 0D01162?
Yes, Your Honor. As part of the plea agreement, the state has agreed to submit a motion to dismiss 2025 0D01162.
Okay. With that, I'm sorry, Mr. Huffman, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes.
Okay, understand, Mr. Bettis, that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled the Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It's a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargain or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Perez, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney before you signed that document?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find that the evidence substantiates your guilt. I will find you guilty of driving while intoxicated, third or more offense, and I will sentence you in accordance with the plea agreement to 10 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division that will be suspended for a period of 10 years of community supervision. I did not notate the fine here. All the terms and conditions may include a fine, community service. I think it was $4,000 and $3,000 of it was probated. Frankly, I'm going to probate the entire fine due to your indigency. You will have the community service. You are to do 10 days confinement as a condition of your probation. That's not the time that you've been in jail now. It's in addition to this time, and you can do it over the course of your entire probation. However you need to do it, whether it's work release, weekends, or straight, okay? You have the term of your probation to complete that time. I am ordering that you have a portable monitoring unit, an alcohol monitor when you are on probation, and that you be compliant with that monitor. You may not operate a motor vehicle, period. Again, as we discussed briefly off the record, if your circumstances should change and you get a valid driver's license and you find a need to operate a motor vehicle, please, you need to get with your probation officer so they can come to the court and make the request, okay?
Amen.
Please understand that when you do that, the first thing I'm going to look at is your monitor and if you've been compliant, okay? All other standard conditions to include curfew, the classes, all DWI related classes, subject to testing, all of those things. I will sign a dismissal in cause number 2025-0D01162. Once I get it, I'll sign that. Anything else, Mr. Huffman?
Your Honor, how long is the court going to give Mr. Perez to get the unit? I mean, is there a deadline that he needs to?
Well, I know probation's going to tell me by the time he has to report. I mean, for my purposes, I don't know how long it takes with the provider. I'll give him 10 days. Does he need more time than that?
I don't know, Judge. He hasn't been working for a while and he is indigent. But I'll definitely keep an eye on that.
This
Mr.
Pineda, I want to say I heard rumblings at some point where, you know, with indigent clients, are there any resources to assist them kind of transitioning out of jail to help them get the monitor or not really?
It just depends on the monitor, Judge, but I will verify that and I will talk to Mr. Perez right now.
Okay.
Just to follow up.
This is what we can do. You know, I don't have a problem with 2 weeks, but know that he's going to get tested by his probation officer within the 2 weeks if I don't have a monitor. And Carla, if he doesn't, then probation needs to let me know so we can set a hearing and we can come
Yes,
in and
Your Honor.
find out what's going on. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Judge, if we could respectfully request a low probation fee.
Yes, $25 due to his indigency.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
Okay, so Mr. Perez, what we have just explained, your attorney is telling me that, you know, you might have a little bit of financial difficulty when you come out. I expect you to have that monitor within 2 weeks. You be in contact with probation because they know what to do in these circumstances. And if we don't have one in 2 weeks, I'm going to bring you back in and we're going to find out what's going on, okay?
Okay, ma'am, that's fine.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Huffman? If not, we're adjourned on Mr. Perez's case. Thank you. Mr. Hughes, I want to let you know Mr. Seelig checked in from the hospital and we checked him in and let him go. Oh, did we lose Mr. Hughes?
Oh, sure did, Judge.
Yeah. Oh, he got too excited. He logged out. All right, who's next?
Judge, next we have on page 11, Andrea Barranco for Mr. Huffman. Annex, if we could get Barranco.
After that, let's
Yes.
take care of Chamorro.
Yes, ma'am. Downtown, if we get Chamorro ready.
Judge, I'm sorry, I'm having
Thank you.
connectivity problems.
Okay, we'll be right back with you, Mr. Hughes. I was
Okay,
just letting
I
you
just
know, Mr.
apologize to the court.
No worries. I was just letting you know Mr. Seelig checked in, so
Thank you, Judge.
we referred him to you. All right, Ms.
Go ahead,
Magana,
Miss.
are you here on Barranco?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Okay, hi, Ms. Barranco. So this is cause numbers 2024 0D01990 and 2024 0D02955, State of Texas versus Andrea Barranco. May I have an announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez, the state.
Rick Huffman for Ms. Barranco.
Ms. Barranco is appearing remotely from the jail annex. I have these both set for probation status hearings. I did review the case summary, and I guess I was afraid I was getting her confused with someone. I thought we were in agreement that she was going to do some type of inpatient treatment, and yet she's still in custody. So what's going on with Ms. Barranco?
We're waiting, Judge. We're waiting for the inpatient facility. I don't know what's going on.
Ms. Magana, can you give me some kind of update? Did we get her either accepted or ready to go to Ali? I thought we had talked about Aliviane, and that might be the hiccup. I don't know.
Your Honor, in March 4th, when we had a court hearing, you did advise that that is what you wanted. However, the case was reset because you wanted, I guess, ADA and attorney to handle the new case. I believe it was a rearrest. So it kind of stayed like that. We never really decided if it was Aliviane or BHRTC or anything like that. However, if you're wanting her for Aliviane, I can definitely give them a call and see what the wait list, or for BHRTC as well, Your Honor.
What's the new cause number?
Let me see.
2955. Is it 6512? See, maybe it's that one. No, that one's dismissed.
I'm trying to load it, Your Honor, on my end. However, it's taking a little bit.
2024 0D06512 is the only one just offhand I can see. And it was dismissed on April 8th, if I'm not mistaken, because she was going to go to Aliviane.
Okay. I don't have that on my notes, Your Honor. I wasn't present for that court hearing specific, so I was not aware of that. But if that,
Let me check, Ms. Magana. Mr. Martinez or Mr. Huffman, is there another new case that I don't know about? Or is that the new case we were talking about?
That's the
only-
one,
That's
Judge.
the most recent case I see.
Yeah, I think she just needs to get to Aliviane like ASAP.
okay, Your Honor, I can go, I can find out, if there are, beds available for her, Your Honor, but you will have to, does have to be released.
Mm-hmm. Do we know, can we get a date? Can we get a date from Aliviane when they can accept her?
Definitely, I can reach out to Aliviane and see, like I said, if there's, beds available. If they tell me that there are beds available, I can reach out, let you know. And then that
So,
way we can get her
Ms.
set.
Magana, let me ask you this, and I may be too ambitious. Can you try right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll see if we get an answer, Ms. Barranco. I'm gonna see if I can get a date certain when we can get you to treatment, okay? So we'll come back to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Magana. I appreciate that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, downtown, if I could have Hector Chamorro. Okay. And Mr. Huffman, I believe we do have the order appointing on that one. It was just done.
Okay, Judge.
Let me see if I can get Carla, can you send the probation summary to Mr. Huffman on Mr. Chamorro?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me send it.
Thank you. Basically, Huffman, what I understand is we had him on probation violation. He picked up some cases in New Mexico, did his time. We finally got him back. There's a motion already filed. And then I'll let you look at it from there.
Yes, Judge.
This is 2017 0D03927, State of Texas versus Hector Chamorro Jr. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez from the state.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Chamorro.
And
Yes,
Mr.
I'm
Chamorro,
for the probation.
sorry about that, Mr. Melendez. Mr. Chamorro is appearing remotely from the downtown jail. We are set for a probation status hearing. As I mentioned to council, this was a late appointment of the public defender's office to your case, Mr. Chamorro. You did not have an attorney. So you were set for a probation status hearing today. I have appointed the public defender to represent you. If you intend to hire an attorney, you're more than welcome to do that. But for now, I didn't want you to be without counsel. I did review the case summary, Mr. Huffman. Frankly, I made a notation here. I don't know, Mr. Martinez, if you've looked at it, if you have a recommendation on a revocation here, that's what I'm looking at is revocation. So I don't know if you have a number there, Mr. Martinez.
Let's see. I see that something about an in-transit movement of people. Let me see if it's the Fed case or.
Let me go back to the probation summary. Here we go. So probation summary. He was placed on probation 10 years straight back in 2018. He was I'll go to the most recent rearrest. August 29, 2024, possession of a firearm by prohibited person, released to marshals. He failed to report previously October 2018 to November 2019, April, June 2020, January, March 2022, and then a few dates in 2024. Before that, he'd had a rearrest. Oh no, He had gotten picked up in 2019. He had some federal charges. We picked him up on a bench warrant, then I guess I put him back on probation. I'm not going to guarantee that. Might have been a visiting judge. And since then, let's see, he appeared in court for his detention hearing in September 2024. They denied his bond and ordered him to be detained in custody pending the disposition of his federal case. Our MTR is active as of October 2024. The recommendation from probation is to screen him for forged caseload, which is a specialized caseload. When I reviewed this, I can tell you I'm not at keeping him on probation. So I wrote down 5 TDC, but I don't know.
Great minds think alike, Your Honor. I was gonna say 4, but your mind is greater than mine.
Well, we'll go with the more generous offer, Mr. Huffman, and start from there. We're looking at 4 TDC. I am going to reset this for 2 weeks, Mr. Chamorro, because you haven't had the opportunity to speak with your attorney. I just wanted to update him on what I'm seeing from the case summary. Okay. So we'll come back in 2 weeks. It will still be another probation status, but honestly, this case has been pending for a minute, so let's get to the point, okay?
Okay.
I'll
And
call
then-
you Friday, Mr. Chamorro. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mr. Huffman. Thank you, Mr. Chamorro.
All right.
Okay. All right, now I think we can go with Mr. Hughes's client because I think Mr. Sparsam probably showed up for that one. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so, but what's the name? Who are we on?
Page 16, Judge, Carlos.
Carlos
Cifuentes.
Cifuentes, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Cifuentes. Where is he? Yes, page 16. Annex, if we could have Carlos Cifuentes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Great.
And now we have all new faces on Carlos Cifuentes' case. Everyone except Mr. Cifuentes. All right, Mr. Cifuentes, is that? Yes, I see you. Okay. Calling cause number 2023-0D08328, State of Texas versus Carlos Alberto Cifuentes. May I have announcements, please?
Enrique Esparza for the state, ready.
Tom Hughes for Mr. Cifuentes, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed.
And Mr. Cifuentes is appearing remotely from the jail annex. We are scheduled today for our pretrial 2801 motions hearing. I did see, Mr. Hughes, that, let me make sure these are yours because I think I'm getting you confused with Mr. Darnell. That there were some motions filed. Anything requiring a hearing?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Esparza, what's the rec?
It's 40 years, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, Mr. Esparza and I talked on the phone earlier today, and I explained to my colleague that I would be out to the annex by the end of the week to discuss the offer with my client.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would be inclined to bring him in. We were probably not set in person, but I'll bring him in on Tuesday in person. Because we do not have another setting until August. That's a long stretch. So I think I want to know where we are because you all are going to hit trial in October. I intend to make that trial. I think we passed several trial settings with previous counsel, Mr. Hughes. And so we're not going to do that anymore. I know you'll be up to speed by October. So we're going to ask you to come in on Tuesday at 10 a.m. in person. We'll bring your client over and we are going to have that be a continuation of today's pretrial hearing. We'll find out where we are. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I will tell the court I've discussed this at length with his previous counsel, Mr. Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
And Judge, I have requested from Ellen J., who is appointed as Mr. Cifuentes' investigator. I've requested they send me their report. I haven't received it yet. I've also asked Justin to send it to me.
Okay. I'm trying to look at the dates here. I feel like they've been stretched out quite, from when we were last here. I'm going back. It looks like, well, on that comment, Mr. Hughes, if there's any relief you need from the court going down the road so that we are not delayed, so we do not go past that trial date, please make your request. We had a motion to withdraw back in September. We had our special setting. That was our second special setting back in September. And now we're here. So
Yes, ma'am. I was appointed by the court last Halloween.
okay. So we're good. All right, so we'll see you on Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Enrique.
This year, Mr. Hughes. Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Judge, on page 13, Mr. Munoz for Joel Duque. Is it
Oh,
okay if I
yeah.
put Mr. Munoz in front of my screen?
Yeah, that's fine. Uh-huh. I was wondering. I knew he was here. I didn't know he was here. Annex,
Annex, so we
you
can
have
get Duque?
Duque.
No, okay.
It's coming up, Your Honor.
Thank you. And this one's pretty straightforward too. We just need to set a trial date.
And which case, Your Honor, so I can prepare for it?
Okay. Okay, these are cause numbers 2024 0D0 5229, 2023 0D0 8442, 2024 0D0 4071, and 2023 0D0 6690. Each case style, the state of Texas versus Joel Duque. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez from the state.
Max Daniel Munoz for Mr. Duque, ready to proceed, Your Honor. First of all, on April 30th of 24, Judge, the recommendation was 5 TDC. And then they moved it up to, I believe, 15. No, 7 and then 15. I don't know what Mr. Duque, if Mr. Duque still wants the jury trial. I mean, or if the state would not consider something between 5 and 7 like they had before. So Mr. Duque can think about it. And
wait a minute. We were here last week, Judge, and
Yes.
it was very clear. You asked your client, he rejected the offers. They were 5. I thought most of them were 5. There
Yes.
might have been a 15, but it was not unclear to the court that your client rejected everything. And I was not unclear in saying, I'm not taking any more pleas.
Yes, Your Honor.
We need to find a trial date. Mr. Martinez, I didn't mean to totally interrupt Judge. And
No, I understand that, Judge.
yeah,
And I just wanted to get it on the record that Mr. Duque had rejected 5 and 7.
Mr. Munoz, one additional question. Have you had access to your client now?
No, Your Honor, I have not. And I was planning to go, I couldn't make it this weekend. I was planning to go probably on Friday or on Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. Well, just so, I mean, as I know we were operating under, some concerns and they weren't clear.
Yes.
There are no issues. There shouldn't be any issues unless there is a legitimate individualized health issue with your client.
No, there's not. And before that, it was the measles, but I think that has gone away now.
Right. Okay. So, Mr. Martinez, I know you weren't here for the other ones, and I don't know how directly involved you are in his cases, but I guess Mr. Munoz is asking about which ones you intend to go on first, and I need to start setting some trials.
What I would ask is just if all 3 can be set, at the same time, and as we get closer, I'll choose one. I'm honest. I'm not trying to be coy. It's just I'm not sure which one I'd want to try first, honestly.
There's 4 cases, Judge, and
The oldest one is the possession, ¿verdad? Is that the oldest?
there's 2 possessions, Judge.
Well, there's a possession, there's a Mandel. The possession, 2023 0D 06690. If I'm setting things, I think I would, Judge, I'm going to set them all at the same time, but I think we're going to start with the 2023 0D 06690. Oh, but he
Yes.
also has a first degree, and that one's older. He has the burglary of habitation, and that one is technically older. I think the date of, no, perdón. Date of offense is older on the drug case. So you're looking for sure at those 2, the 2020 cases.
The burglary of habitation and the
Possession.
Mandel.
No, the possession.
Okay, the possession.
Yeah, so I'll set them all, but the 2023 cases will go on first.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll give me time to
let me-
see my client and see if he has had a change of mind, and then hopefully I can talk to Mr. Martinez
Well,
and convince you, of course, your church.
Yeah. I have a couple of trial dates here pretty quick. Myrna, is there anything in July that we have available?
Let me check.
Thank you.
Judge,
Yes.
July 11th, there are no special settings, but there are 5 civil cases set.
Mr. Nanez, do we have panels on July 11th?
July 11th and the 10th and 11th, Judge, we have 2 of 120, both in Commissioner's Court.
Wow, so we got Judge, we could pick all your juries. We could use one panel for one case. We could use another panel for another case. Wow, we got a lot of jurors. Let me look at something.
Judge,
Monday.
on July 18th, we have a civil case starting that's going to last 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Any of these cases you think are going to last more than a week, Mr. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
Yeah,
No, I'm thinking 3 days.
yeah, and if we pick up on the 10th, if we get our jury on the 10th, we can start evidence on the 11th. That's what we're gonna do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just send me
gonna set these.
the setting and I'll.
We're gonna set them all for July 10th and 11th, okay? Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may. Myrna, go ahead and put a final judges conference on July 8th, please, in person in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to make sure we have all our T's crossed and I's dotted. Thank you.
I know. I listen from. I think I'm not being excused.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Who's
Thank
next?
you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, on page 16, we have Zoilo Romero for Mr. Morales. Mr. Morales, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. There he is.
Romero.
Mr. Romero, that's you, right?
Yeah, that's him, Judge.
Okay. Calling cause number 2024-0D00956, State of Texas versus Zoilo Romero. May I have announcements, please?
I have Martinez for the state.
And Your Honor, Leonard Morales on behalf of Mr. Romero.
And for purposes of the record, Mr. Romero is appearing remotely from the downtown jail. Mr. Morales, I think these final hearings, there were some health concerns last week or maybe about 10 days ago with transporting inmates. That had resolved, but I had already changed your client to the jail docket, so that's why we're doing this remotely.
That's fine, Judge.
This is a final hearing plea deadline. What is the rec on Mr. Romero?
I think the latest rec that Jose made was, well, he has an option. It's either 3 TDC or 5 deferred with safety as a condition.
Okay, Mr. Morales?
And Your Honor, I think I had countered with if they would consider dropping the safety provision, that might be more agreeable, but we hadn't actually come to an agreement on it.
Had he been to BHRTC in the past?
I don't believe so. Solio, you hadn't been to BHRTC before?
You said Antonio?
No, Solio.
No, that's not me.
Hola, Antonio. It's Antonio.
Oh, this is Realzola. No,
Oh,
Mr.
Realzola.
Realzola. We need Zoilo Romero, and he might be at the annex. My apologies.
Yes. Annex, are you
It
there?
looks a lot like him, Judge.
Well, I think you're
That
right.
guy actually looks a lot like him.
Annex, are you there? Annex?
Yes, it's coming out.
Thank you.
Okay. Little closer, Solio.
What's your
Okay,
name,
I
sir?
see you. Yeah, I see you.
Okay, so we have Mr. Romero now appearing from the jail annex. All right, what were those two wrecks, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. It was, so the recs were, 5 years deferred probation with safe P as a condition,
Okay.
or just 3 to do.
Okay, so it's either 3 TDC or 5 deferred. They're saying safe P, and I asked if he had gone to BHRTC before.
Yeah. Solio, have you been to BHRTC?
Yes, sir.
You have? Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
That's why we're at safe P.
Yeah, and I didn't like that provision, Judge. But I know my last indications I have from my client was that he was not agreeable to changing a plea to either one of those recommendations. Is that right, Solio?
Yes, sir.
No time, no deferred probation, right? We talked about that.
If it's just probation, I'll take the probation, but I'm not gonna take the CP and then probation, and I'm not gonna plead for 3 for something I didn't do. You know.
Understood.
Or I'm the one that got assaulted and got robbed.
Hold on, Solio. Don't say anything else, okay?
All right, let me just pull up the case on Odyssey. Well, I mean, we have our panel, and Mr. Morales, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Nunez, we have a panel of 120 on Friday, right?
On this Friday, Judge? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martinez, are you ready for trial?
Checking on that now, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Is he also not agreeable to BHRTC? I think that's what I'm hearing, Mr. Morales, but I don't know. I'll ask.
I mean, we're still looking at anywhere from, I don't know, 4 to 6 months, Judge, of kind of a lockdown facility. I know safety is a lot longer, but I don't think the case itself is also not rock solid, Judge. So
Yeah,
I guess Ivan and Mr. Arceo need to figure out what they want to do.
let me see.
I can be ready on Friday, Judge.
Okay. You know, it's interesting because it seems like all the cases today were, they're not always trials, but we have a few. So from the ones this morning, we have a few already queued up.
You know what, Your Honor, I don't think, I would ask for continuance on this one. I'm not sure if it's our first. I know it'd certainly be my first.
Yeah, and my client's been in custody for a good long time on this one too, Judge. So
I know.
and I know it's not Ivan's fault, but the state has had prior continuances on this, Judge.
They have? Okay, that's where I was going. I'm going through all my little tabs here. I mean, I'm fine. But you're saying you're ready for trial, and this is not the state's first continuance, and I'm not really hearing something too compelling about the continuance, then it's denied. Let me see, motion for continuance. What is this one? Because I think we've been at bond hearings. In fact, if I remember, Mr. Romero had a concern about his child and child going with mom or
Yes, Judge.
family member. And, that was a tough one, but I denied his request on the bond. Let me see.
And if the court if that is a concern of the court, I would certainly agree to a bond reduction.
Does that make any difference to you, Mr. Morales?
I mean, if the court's going to grant a continuance, then I would certainly ask for a bond reduction, Judge. But I know my client's probably not going to be agreeable to it. So I
The
think we're,
December motion for continuance was a defense continuance. This, Marissa, is this the state's, is it gonna be the state's first motion?
I could have sworn they had one in the past, Judge. I
I
don't
know,
have a.
you know, there's not too many entries here.
Mm-mm.
There's a motion for continuance in December and Marissa, who is like super accurate. Why isn't where are my things opening here? My attachments are not opening on Odyssey. What's going on here? It was defense motion for continuance. Okay, let me see if I close.
Yes, it was, Judge.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. Let me look at his bond. He's at no bond?
No, Judge, I think it's 25. I think the bond is 25.
Yeah, I see that the jury trial setting in February was reset, but I'm not sure why, Your Honor.
I don't think that one was mine, Judge. Mine was the December one.
Your Honor, he's on no bond because he was detained in December. I don't recall. I'll have to find the docket from December, but I guess he showed up to court and you did a detainer.
I don't know how that happens, Judge. He's been in custody for a lot longer than that.
18 months.
He might not have been booked
He was
then.
in custody in December.
He's been in custody since February 19th of 2024, but he may not
Yeah.
have been booked on this. It might have just been like the parole violation or something.
What's
I'm not quite sure. But there was a detainer. That's why it says no bond. And I found the detainer and it was signed in December.
What was his bond prior to that?
It was 25,000. I'm sorry, the detainer was done August 6th of 2024. The motion for continuance, August 30th of 2024, the motion for continuance was December 10th. I had the two dates confused, but he has been in custody since February of 2024. But for whatever reason, I guess he wasn't booked on this case. So in order for him to get credit, we did the detainer, and that was done August 30th of 2024.
Okay. When did we have our bond hearings? Bond hearing August 6th. Okay. And there was not another bond hearing after that.
There was one in August, Judge. We did one in August,
Um,
and I think again in December.
I don't show a bond hearing in December. I only show one, which would have been at the jail magistrate in February, and then the one in August. I do remember his bond hearing. Because I do remember those details. What's the issue on the continuance, Mr. Martinez?
No real issue. You know, now that I think about it, what was I gonna say? Since this defendant is in jail, he would take precedent over the two defendants from this morning as far as jury trials. Is that a fair statement?
Yes. Yes.
Probably. I think he should, Judge, anyway, if he's in custody.
Yeah, I just didn't remember, but yeah, everybody from the morning is not in custody.
Okay.
So
Okay, well then
let me ask this. Hold on a second. I want to go back.
Okay.
I'm trying to get an understanding of where the concern of treatment came up. Was that something related to this case?
There's an
Whatever
allegation of drug use.
It was
Your Honor.
it was just part of the negotiations, Judge. That's how I understood it. The state made a certain offer. It was like, okay, I understand the offer. I made a counter offer, and that's kind of where we ended off.
The allegation in the case is that the defendant in the case had been using fentanyl, and that played a role in what may have occurred in this particular case.
Okay. And because he'd previously been to BHRTC, safety comes up. Okay. Okay. All right. Mr. Morales, were you going to say something else?
Excuse me, Judge, I didn't hear you clearly.
Were you going to say something else? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, Judge.
Okay.
Well, Judge, I mean, if Mr. Morales is ready, we can be ready.
Okay.
You know, honestly, we haven't subpoenaed the complaining witness in the case, but you know, I think we can do that by we'd start up with the evidence on Monday. Is that right, Your Honor?
How long do you think it would take? I mean, the thing is, we have the two panels, right? We have the two panels. I think, you know, let me see. Are you guys set for both? Or are you just set for the one? No, you're just set for the one. So I don't want to hold you to a Thursday jury selection because nobody was given notice of it. Yeah, so we'll start, we would start on Monday. Frankly, if you could start on Friday, that'd be great. Yeah, if we could go straight into evidence. Let me tell you a little bit, Mr. Morales, I know Ivan's heard this for Friday, because we had some specially set cases. We have Commissioner's Court with 120 people. I don't know that we need 120 people on this case. So
No,
I would cut that panel to 80 in the courtroom. Unless you're telling me you want the 120. And you're right, Mr. Martinez, he would be first because he's the only one in custody that's at trial this week. So if we do 80 in the courtroom and we get a jury, my preference is to start on Friday, but we wouldn't have to. How long you think it's going to take?
Again, maybe 2.5 days, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We're good. So Mr. Morales, we'll get you jury sheets. The request for continuance at this time is denied. I am going to cut that panel to 80 if it's your case, right? Which it sounds like it is going to be your case.
That's fine, Judge. I don't have an objection to that.
And we'll do it in the courtroom. Like I said, preference would be to start evidence on Friday. But if not, we'll start first thing Monday morning. Okay. If you need
I guess the only question I have, Judge, in because I know that Ivan and I are going to continue,
right,
I guess, trying to negotiate this. Would the BHRTC, if it's part of the deferred, would that be out of the question for the court?
I'm good for hearing what we've talked about today. I'm good with screening for treatment on regular probation. But I've also heard some things, Mr. Morales, from your client that tell me we're going to trial, you know? So I'm just going to put that out there.
I understand, Judge. I'm just wondering if the court's still inclined to accept a plea if we took one. Because I do plan to go out and see Mr. Romero
if you're saying
this afternoon or tomorrow, so we can discuss it just a little further.
Safety, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Okay. But here's the thing, I'm going to need to know this sooner than later because now you guys are going to be number one. So I'm going to need to know by like tomorrow, Mr. Morales, because if it's not you guys, I start jury selection on Thursday on another case.
Okay.
I know that's not really your problem, but I'd like to know that so I don't scrap other cases that really need to go just to find out that we're at a plea.
No, I understand, Judge. I'll get with Ivan if he's going to be available this afternoon, so we can discuss this a little further.
Yeah, and I'll be getting you. We haven't filed a witness list, so we'll be filing a witness list, Mr. Morales. That'll be forthcoming. So
let me ask, is it helpful for you all to have a breakout room here after I finish with my next couple of?
Yeah, maybe, Judge. That way I can touch base with Ivan and I can have a little more substantive conversation with Mr. Romero about all this.
If you can stand by, we shouldn't take too much longer.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. We're coming back to you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Who's next? Mr. Nanez.
page 15, Michael Morton, annex, we get Michael Morton for Mr. Abrar.
Mr. Abrar.
Good afternoon,
long
Judge.
time no see. And again, well, we talked about this one a little bit this morning.
Yes, we did.
All right, this is cause number 2024-0D04175, State of Texas versus Michael Morton. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez, the state.
Arif Abrar for Mr. Morton.
And Mr. Morton is appearing remotely again. That was at the court's request due to some concerns about inmate transfer. So thank you, Mr. Abrar, for accommodating the scheduling change. Final hearing plea deadline, what's the rec?
The rec is 5 deferred, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Abrar.
Judge, actually, we did negotiate it with Mr. Jose Garcia. He offered 3 years deferred probation, and I received plea paperwork at 10:30 this morning.
Oh, there you go, Ivan. Jose is working. He's multitasking. So is your client taking that rec, Mr. Abrar?
Yes, Mr. Morton, it's the 3 probation that we talked about, okay? I'll come and talk to you.
Okay, I will, because we're doing this remotely, have to reschedule Mr. Morton for 2 weeks out. We will do that in person, a final hearing plea deadline, anticipating that we're really looking at a plea, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Morton, I'll come before that and have you sign.
Is
Okay.
that PR bond though, it's gonna get till I go sentencing, or I will have to be trained?
So your sentencing and everything is going to be at the same time, but we have to come over there, get you signed up, so we can set you up for a plea hearing. Okay.
Okay, for now, Mr. Abrar, I'm putting him at 2 weeks from today. Okay.
Sounds good, Judge.
Something sooner, just bring us your paperwork and we'll see if we can fit you in. But now it sounds like we might be in trial, so we'll do our best.
Sounds good, Judge.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Morton.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day. Who's next?
Judge, next we have Mr. Parra for Brandon Perez on page 15. Annex, can we get Brandon Perez?
Yes, Your Honor, it's coming out. Brandon Perez.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Parra. All right, this is cause number 2023-0D02878 and 2024-0D03646, State of Texas versus Brandon Bettis. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Manuel Parra, Your Honor, for Mr. Perez.
Mr. Bettis is appearing remotely. Mr. Parra, I see one of these is final hearing plea deadline again. Thank you for accommodating the scheduling change. There were some concerns about inmate transfers. And so I wanted to make sure we still had our hearing on some health issues. So that's why you got moved to the 3 p.m. docket.
Understood, Judge.
So final hearing plea deadline. Mr. Martinez, I bet you have some notes there with a rec.
Let's see here. The rec on here is tend to do. I don't know if somebody's offered you something different, Mr. Parra.
Yes, Your Honor, you may recall, Judge, that Mr. Garcia and I had previously approached Your Honor with 4 years at that time. And I believe, Mr. Martinez, you're aware of this as well. Your Honor mentioned that you weren't comfortable with taking the 4 years. And so Mr. Garcia and I were supposed to revisit that, Judge. For those reasons, Your Honor, I don't expect that we would have to have had the contested revocation or a jury trial on the matter, and was expecting things to be resolved by way of an offer. I had also submitted a motion to withdraw at the time that Mr. Perez first learned that the 4 years weren't going to be accepted, Judge. There were some misunderstandings there, but I think we might be able to stay on towards the disposition of things. I'm sorry, Judge.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
If the rec from the state on the new case is for TDC, so be it. My concern is
Right.
she is on probation.
And you did make that clear, Judge.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm not dictating the state's rec on the new case. What I do know
correct.
is his probation case and his failure to comply with probation, allegedly, and that is why the court is at 10 TDC. So with that, what are we doing, Mr. Parra? Because I know you left, if I'm not mistaken, you left your motion to withdraw standing. I need to know what we're doing because we keep going back and forth with Mr. Perez.
What about this? What about if that's the court's inclination, you go forward on the revo, he pleads true on the revo, and in exchange for the 10 on the revo, I dismiss the new one.
Well, I know he's not inclined at all, and it was the, and frankly, Your Honor, a part of the blame is mine in that when I learned of the offer for TDC, Judge, I communicated it to my client such that he was led to believe that's how the case would be disposed. When he learned that we were at a minimum possibly of 10 TDC, Judge, he believed that I might have made some misrepresentations, hence the withdrawal. Last, we approached, Your Honor, and we being Mr. Garcia and myself, Your Honor, I was under the impression that perhaps you would consider something under 10 if we were able to agree on something else. But if you're making it clear that you're at 10, then I think I have to proceed with the motion to withdraw, given the reasons it stemmed from.
I understand. And I think that's why we left it pending, just to see where we were. So what I'm looking for, though, is there's his probation case. Is that he doesn't have a trial date on his new case.
Oh.
So are you urging your motion to withdraw now on both cases, Mr. Parra?
To be clear, Judge, the court wouldn't consider less than 10 at all on the probation case? Understood, Your Honor. That puts me in a position where I think my client will continue to believe I misrepresented the offer to him, Judge.
Do you want to have this hearing in person?
If we may, Judge, the withdrawal, that'd be great.
Okay, let's do that for Tuesday as well. That'll give me a chance to look at a trial date because his new case is set for final hearing plea deadline, but it doesn't have the trial setting. So we need to get him set for trial. I also need to find out, it might be useful if he needs to apply for a court-appointed attorney, right? All those kinds of things. So we'll come back on Tuesday, Mr. Perez, so we can hear your attorney's motion to withdraw and then get your schedule set away, squared away, along with your application for court-appointed counsel if you are not going to hire someone else. Okay? Sound good?
Understood, Judge.
See you Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I've got Mrs. Caballero here.
Yes, I
And
was
Mr.
just looking for
Alonso.
her. Let's take care of that.
Yes, ma'am. Your client is in now.
And yes, the client is here, and this is, let me find him.
Mr. Alonso.
Mr. Alonso.
Yes, hello, Your Honor.
Ms. Caballero, there's Mr. Alonso. Okay. Oh, wrong Alonso. That's a 130, right? That's my problem.
Yes, Your Honor.
Page 4.
All right. Ivan, this is on page 4, Juan Alonso, calling cause number 2022 0D02506, State of Texas versus Juan Alonso. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Teresa Caballero on behalf of Mr. Alonso.
And Mr. Alonso is appearing remotely. We are set for a status conference. Let me go back. Let me find him. When are we set for trial on Mr. Alonso? There he is.
December, I'm mistaken, Your Honor.
Sure. December 4th and 5th, special setting. How are we doing on this one?
I guess we're just marching forward, Judge. I don't have any issues that come to mind at this moment.
I see since we've had the reset, we have a new 2801 deadline. What I'll tell you is we're coming back in July, then October, and then we're basically at trial. So if there is anything that comes up, please, let's make sure that your hearings are requested well ahead of that final hearing plea deadline. Everything else is in place. If I'm not mistaken, I've received reports on your client's bond. Let me look. Yes, and he's fine. So we're tracking. Mr. Martinez, do you have anything to add on this one? I think it was a recent reset.
Just to, if Miss Caballero believes there's something missing from the file, she just let me know and I'll see if I can add it.
Thank you.
I think we're good, Ms. Caballero. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Juan, I'll see you later.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Can I ask you a question, Your Honor? With all respect, is there any way we can move the jury trials sooner? Because I've lost my job. They have fired me. I can't get any other job. I am torn apart financially, emotionally.
Mr. Alonso, let me stop you right there. I'm not doing that to disrespect what you're saying, but I think that's something you need to conference with your attorney first, Ms. Caballero. I have very limited spaces for a special setting, but it's not impossible. So if it's something that you want to urge with the court, Ms. Caballero, we can conference it with the state and see if I can give you some options. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. And my client has conveyed this to me on several occasions. I did try to switch them out with the dates for AB in February, but that was not convenient for the court.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad that my client has heard it from you
Mhm.
because I don't think that he grasps the calendar.
Mhm.
So
Mr. Alonso, so you know, it's very difficult. I know it seems maybe, you know, kind of absurd that we're talking about very tight calendars, but there are so many cases that require special attention. And behind those are cases that are also set. So any given day, we have about 20, any given week, we have about 20 cases more or less set for trial. This is one where we've gone past, and you know, I say we have very limited, like maybe 1 or 2 shots at trial, but that requires planning. And, you know, if we're going to try and look for a new date, I got to make sure everybody can be ready and available. So for example, I could say July 11th or July, yeah. And I'm not saying that date's available, but the chances that Ms. Caballero is available, that witnesses can be available, I don't know that that is possible, right? It's not as simple as just saying, well, we're going to just pick a sooner date. So I'm happy to conference with you, Ms. Caballero, if you really, if we really need to look at that, maybe put you as a backup to another special setting. I'll work with you.
thank you.
It's very difficult. Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for waiting. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who's next? Who's left? I feel like we still have so many.
Mr. Parra, Judge, on page 15 for Brandon.
We just took care of.
Oh, I'm sorry, we did that. I'm sorry, I meant Mr. Ruben for April Alonso on page 10.
Yes.
My mistake, sorry, Judge.
Hi, Judge.
Hi.
Annex, we can get April Alonso.
Yes, sir. She's coming right out.
Thank you.
And we need to come back to Barranco, right? And we need to come back on Zoilo Romero. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we still need Valles and Real Sola. Okay. All right. Calling cause numbers 2024 0D07255 and 2025 0D00199. State of Texas versus April Alonso. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Ruben Hernandez, Your Honor, for Ms. Alonso.
And Ms. Alonso is appearing remotely from the jail annex. We are set for bond hearings. Mr. Hernandez, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we've been here before on a previous bond. She hasn't been able to post a bond that the court set. In the meantime, Judge, there's been some new evidence that we've come across. So we emailed to Mr. Martinez and to the court right now, Judge. I don't know if the court has seen the email that we sent, but it's an affidavit from the co-defendant, who is stating, we got a letter from him that it's notarized. He sent it to us from the jail. And it states that my client had nothing to do with the drugs in his apartment, as we had told the court that he was living there. She had gotten the apartment for him because he didn't have the credit, and he got it so he could go to his doctor's visits because he has cancer. And so you know, he was doing his thing because whatever reason he was doing his thing, I think he needed it for the money for his medical bills, is what I'm thinking. But she had nothing to do with that. She was 19 at the time. She just turned 21 this month. So I don't know if the court got that, Judge, the email, but if you let me share my screen, I can show you the letter that he wrote and the affidavit, actually. It's an affidavit form.
Mr. Martinez, did you receive that?
When did you send this out, Ruben?
She sent it this afternoon, I believe.
I don't know that I have it, and I'm trying to look at the bond. The
Yeah.
bond was at 40,000, Mr. Hernandez?
That's correct, Judge.
It wasn't
40,000 on each.
on each,
40,000 on two different ones.
okay, on each case, okay.
Right, and then a 5,000, well, the misdemeanor's already been dismissed now, so it's two $40,000 bonds. If I can press this button, I don't know if I'm technically inclined. If you want, I can try and share my screen, Judge.
Go ahead.
Let me see if I can do this.
I am not able to open attachments on Odyssey.
Let me see if this is I don't think that worked.
Be
Let me
careful,
see.
Mr. Hernandez. I don't want to see anything. Case.
Let me see here.
If you can just shoot an email if that's what you're trying to accomplish. Let me go ahead and so what are you asking for in terms of the bond?
Can you see my screen right here, Judge, or no?
I just see a white screen.
What about now?
Nothing.
Because I'm showing more than a white screen now.
No, I don't see anything but a white screen.
Your evidence is not very compelling, Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Martinez, what's your
Can you see that now, Judge? Can you see that now?
No, I can't. I just see people now.
Let me see because I can see it on my screen. Let me see if it.
Mr. Martinez, what is your position on the bond?
Judge,
I respect the facts.
So Judge, if I can also keep going, Judge. Also, I have photos that I was going to show the court of her bruising. He was also very abusive with her. On top of that, and we have photos of all the bruising she has. And in addition to that, Judge, while she's been detained, she's been diagnosed with lupus and needs medical attention. So she's 21 now and she has lupus, which is, it just goes from bad to worse. So she has no criminal history whatsoever. The only reason she has these, she's in this situation is because of this boyfriend who unfortunately was abusive with her, but at least she's trying to come clean with her now.
Okay, so the co-defendant is in the 168, set for trial in September. All right.
Jose J. Aguirre.
Yeah, Jose Julian Aguirre. Mr.
Well,
Martinez.
apparently, a search warrant was executed in July. And during the search, they found 117 bottles in the bedroom closet of alprazolam pills, which is 117 bottles. Each bottle contained 30 pills. And this is the bedroom closet where there's links to this defendant, where apparently she was sleeping. In addition, there was plastic baggies and a scale inside of the hallway closet. Again, this is the home where she was sleeping. And various documents linking the defendant with this home as her place of residence. So I think the evidence is there that, you know, that she knew, she knew about these drugs, and she knew about the scale, and she knew about the bottles and the pills and the containers. And she wasn't just an unknown dope in the situation. You know, the recommendation, you know, we're just recommending 5 deferred in this case. Her criminal history is not awful. This is without
POM, and let me see.
Everything is out of these two cases, Judge, I think. So I don't think she has any prior arrests besides that, because she's a lawful permanent resident, and that's why we can't do the deferred. If we had, we would have taken the deferred a long time ago, if you know, possibly at that point, right? But just to get her out. But she's
Does she have an immigration hold?
There's no, because she's still a lawful permanent resident. So, that's why we're asking the court for a PR bond in these cases, Judge, so that we can even, you know, what he tells the family is that he's going to plea and he's going to exonerate her. And as far as the drugs being in the house, Judge, it was in the closet, in a bathroom. Places she didn't have access to where they found them. Would she go visit him at that apartment? Absolutely. That was her boyfriend. But she didn't live there. It was his apartment. She wasn't dealing the drugs, and I can read this short affidavit. It's not very long. I can read
Go ahead.
if you want. It says the reason for this affidavit is to accept responsibility and to clarify that April Alonso had nothing to do with anything that was found at my residence. The reason for her being on the lease was because she was aware of my cancer situation and wanted to help me after I mentioned to her that I was in the process of getting an appointment, but my credit and monthly income didn't meet that criteria alone, so I asked her to co-sign. She did not reside with me. She would only come over from time to time when she wasn't at school or work. Further, affidavit says not, Jose Aguirre, and then it's notarized by Luis Vasquez, Notary Public, on April 5th, 2025. And we randomly received this letter from the co-defendant, or this affidavit, and the family kept telling me he's going to exonerate her, but I said I tried to talk to Justin, who was his attorney, and he wouldn't return my calls in reference to that. Eventually, he said it was actually Derek's case, and I've had no response. And so then I get this letter. So I guess what he's telling them, I guess is true that he is going to exonerate her. And so we'd ask for a PR bond. In addition, Judge, if you see the pictures, the bruising on her where he would hit her, unfortunately. And now she has lupus on top of that she just got diagnosed with while she's been detained.
Your Honor, I just want to clarify something that this defendant has been arrested before for drugs. In October of 2023, she was a passenger in a vehicle where 8 vape cartridges with THC were found, and that case is also pending in the 210. So the July 2024 search warrant execution was actually her second drug-related arrest.
Right, and they're both pending, Judge, and that was the case as well, that he says he's going to exonerate her because she was he had put stuff in a backpack that was in the car there when they got stopped.
So does the state opposed to any bond reduction?
I'm sorry. So the bond right now is 40,000. I think that's reasonable. I think maybe maybe like a 30-10 split if just to make it a little reduce a little. But I think considering the criminal history, it's not that outrageous, 40.
And Judge, she's obviously a long permanent resident. She's not going to run. She's going to stay here to try and fight her case so she can remain here. And so we would ask for, if not a straight PR bond, maybe like a, 1,500 cash or surety on each, and then you can make the rest of it a PR bond.
Mr. Hernandez, I can't go that low. I am going to grant your request to reduce the bond, but just hearing what you're saying here, I don't think we're going to be where you would like or your client would like us to be. So I'm going to grant your request. I am going to split I'm going to reduce the bond on the 7255 case to 25,000, 10 cash surety, 15 PR. Curfew, absolutely no contact with the co-defendant. And I mean no contact. So, if you get out and he's calling you from jail or doing anything like that, that's going to be a violation of your bond conditions. Curfew, may not leave El Paso County or change place of residence without court permission, subject to testing, no illegal drug or alcohol. She wasn't living there, right, Mr. Hernandez? So she's not gonna.
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
That's correct. She does not live there. She lives with her mom, and I can give you the address. It's 3624 Jamaican Palm Drive, El Paso, Texas.
You have to stay there. You can't change your place of residence without court permission. Commit no new offenses, show up for court. In cause number ending 0199 though, I understand what you're telling me. However, it is a first degree. And so that is gonna be a she's at 40,000 there as well. Yeah, she's at 40,000. So I'm just gonna split that one 2020 with the same conditions. I know that's not where your client wants to be, Mr. Hernandez, but that's the best I can do in light of the charges, okay?
And Judge, on the 00199, that's the one that actually have the affidavit too. That's the one at the home. Could we do 10? Could we do 10 and 20 on that one, or 10 and 30 on that one too? Maybe they can post that bond.
No, I'm not there. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank-
She has her
thank you, Judge.
settings. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Honor. Thank you, Ivan.
Who's next?
Judge, page 16 for Mr. Huffman, Alan Rozola. Downtown, can we get Rozola?
Andrea Zola, I've seen he's on probation on a criminal trespass, a Class B misdemeanor.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, this is cause number 2023 0D00761, State of Texas versus Alan Antonio Razola. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Rick Huffman for Mr. Rizzola.
Maribel Olvera with the top probation, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Mr. Razola is appearing remotely from the downtown jail. As I was mentioning, he's on probation for a Class B misdemeanor. I think it was reduced from a burglary of habitation. I don't remember. However, I saw the recommendation from probation. Let me get to my screen. Was possibly to forge caseload him and modify him going forward. Right? If I'm not mistaken, yes. Forge.
Yes, Your Honor.
He was rearrested on the bench warrant on a parole violation. He was arrested on drug paraphernalia on April 2nd. Why are we just revoking him to 60 days credit for time served?
Judge, can we bring him in on Tuesday? I need to discuss that. I have a jail call set tomorrow. I don't know how that would affect his parole. I just kind of want to explain that's a questionable, and but I agree. I mean, either we could work. I think we could work something out on Tuesday in person, if possible. Because he has. I mean, he's time served on the max.
All right, we can bring him in on Tuesday. Ms. Olvera, thank you very much for your report.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tuesday in person, Mr. Razola. All right, who's next?
Judge, on page 16 for Mr. Huffman, we have Adrian Bias. Annex, if we get Adrian Bias. I think that's all downtown has, Judge.
Downtown didn't have one of our bringbacks? No, Ms. Barranco or Mr. Zoilo? No, ¿verdad?
No, ma'am. They
Thank
only
you,
have
downtown. This is Mr. Valles. This is cause numbers 2023 0D07980 and 2024 0D06510. Each case style the state of Texas versus Adrian Valles. May I have announcements, please?
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Rick Huffman for Mr. Bias.
I don't know if anybody's covering on the pre-revo, but I do have my notes here. Mr. Martinez, on 6510, final hearing plea deadline. Do you have a rec?
Okay, so on the Revo,
I'm more
Gosh,
concerned on the other case. I think I
oh,
know.
I'm sorry, on the other case. Because there's a note here that on the Revo 5 to do.
Okay.
Look
at that.
On the new case. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused here. So the allegation is that Mr. Bias was on probation and he picked up a new possession underground. Is that right?
So if I go back on his case summary, yes, he did pick up the new possession. He was placed on community supervision in July of 2024 for ag assault, 3 deferred, but then never reported. He was arrested in August for theft of property. That case was dismissed, and a possession case, R6510. He was in custody for 1 day, posted bond, and then released. Then they notified me. I issued a bench warrant, and he's been in custody, as probation reminds me, many times in the case summary since September of 2024. And so then we have some hearings. The state's rec in October is 7 TDC. Let me see. I'm willing to take 5 new charges on the theft of property, the possession, those are ours. November, we have a court hearing. We're still at the same place. In December, he's before a visiting judge, and then we're reset from March to today. The recommendation is again to put him on the specialized caseload and continue on community supervision. So I'm wondering why we were at 7 and 5 TDC. Mr. Huffman, is he still here? Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm here, Judge. I can't really answer that. I'm not sure why the court was at 5. This case, I don't know if the court remembers. He was in custody on the allegation of aggravated assault. It was his ex-wife's new boyfriend was a complaining witness. The incident happened at my client's house. Ex-client's new boyfriend was pushing him, and he was pushing back. Anyway, he was in custody for about 2 months, and he pled to probation. I thinking back, we should not have done that, but we did. He got out, and he had problems from the very beginning with new arrests. Judge, he was not in a stable environment at that time. He's I think 26 years old now. He has in the past he's been in custody for about 235 days. While in custody, he's been in the reentry program. He's been taking classes for recovery. I got an email from his coach. Coach has gotten him the opportunity for a place, a bed at Casa Vida. That's a 90-day, basically in-house rehab.
Let me stop you right there, Mr. Huffman. Carla, do you recall why we were at 5 and 7 TDC? Was it just that he didn't do anything on probation and had the rearrest?
Your Honor, if I recall, Your Honor, I believe that was the thing he had never reported.
And he's never been to TDC before?
I think he had, Judge. I think he had been to TDC. From what I remember.
I'm checking on that now. Let's see here.
5 and 7 are not small numbers.
And I think that was it, Judge. He got out, and he got arrested pretty soon after he got out on probation.
It looks like he's been to prison in New Mexico. Let me see about here in Texas.
I don't see anything on the jailings here that tell me right off the bat he's been to TDC. Time served, PR, surety, case dismissed, time served, case dismissed. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I think that maybe his only pen trip is in New Mexico.
And what was that for, Mr. Martinez?
It says here, on June 14th, 2014, it was a probation violation on a felony. And it was 18 months. Probation revoked, sentence time served.
Let me tell you why I'm asking all of this, because I did read the case summary, but when I reviewed it, my notes say this. Well, let me ask, I asked this already, do you have a rec on that possession state jail felony?
Well, the rec on the new one is just, I think it's 1244A time served. So, but if he's willing, if he wants to do the revo, we can just dismiss the new one and whatever time he does in the revo.
I'm hearing a lot of, hold on, Mr. Huffman. I'm hearing a lot of he wants to straighten up, right?
He does.
So what I had notated here, right, on my docket was to extend him on the ag assault and modify him to the specialized caseload, and for him to do deferred on the new drug case with those same terms. He takes his drug hit deferred, he does his probation on the old one with the modifications as probation is. Basically, we put him on probation with a new drug case. And he either means it and he's gonna really do what he needs to, we'll send him to Casa Vida as he's saying, or he's gonna mess up and we're gonna be back at least 10 TDC on the ag assault, and he can do whatever, 2 years in the state jail. Or, like Mr. Martinez is suggesting, we can revoke him on the ag assault and he can do 5 TDC, we get rid of the drug case, and he doesn't have to worry about anything else except going to prison.
And just so I mean, I do need to speak to Mr. Valles, because that if he gets another chance on probation, it could get ugly at that point, and he needs to know that. If you know, he does not comply, if he doesn't complete the probation, it could go really well for him too, Judge, and that's what he's always wanted. I mean, he wants to turn his life around, and I think he's got a stable environment that it's at least a possibility for him.
Mm-hmm. So here's my problem. He has a jury trial on Friday on the drug case.
But on that case, yeah, we haven't gotten labs yet, so.
So you're okay if I reset him for 30 days? Because now that I know we're like very likely to be in trial, I'm not inclined to say next week or 2 weeks. We'll have to come back in 30 days.
Well, if the court's inclined to release him, I think we're in agreement, Judge. But maybe we could get all the details figured out at Casa Vida to give him a good chance.
So, okay, well, that's where I am on both of his cases, is putting him on probation with some of this specialized treatment. I don't know if your client wants to do it or not. What I will tell you is, you know, he's on cue for jury trial. It sounds to me like it's not ready. Technically, you would be second after Mr. Romero. We're gonna leave it like that. So we'll leave the trial setting as is. Is this our last case besides the one that we're bringing back, Mr. Nanez? Barranco?
You invite Barranco back, Judge, and I believe Mr. Morales needed a breakout room with
Yes.
Mr.
So I
Martinez.
think, can you use a breakout room too, Mr. Huffman, with Mr. Valles?
Yes, please.
Okay, for my purposes today, our hearing on Mr. Valles is adjourned, and we have our trial setting. Whether we need it or not, or whether we go to something else, I'll find out from you after you guys have your little conferences, okay? Okay, but I do see some CSOs here. So if we're done with Mr. Valles, and we're gonna come back to some folks. Who is pending? I guess just Ms. Magaña. Do you have anything on Ms. Barranco?
Yes, Your Honor. So I did call Aliviane. I was told to email the director, Ms. Hernandez, which I did. She will be the one to tell me how long the wait is. However, they also did say that they can make arrangements to pick her up from jail, so we don't have to release her for that. As soon as I get a response from her, I can definitely email you and let you know the wait time.
Okay, and who was here on Barranco? That's you, Mr. Huffman. So, Mr. Huffman, on Barranco, as soon as probation tells me that Aliviane has a date for her, I'm sending her. That's all there is to it.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I forwarded you an email, as well as Mr. Huffman and Ms. Magaña regarding the last email, which was like on April 9th. There was a hold, and that was one of the reasons why Ms. Barranco hadn't been released. Although we were back and forth regarding Aliviane, if she was going to go to Aliviane or not. But it had to do with her having a hold. And it, yes.
Huh?
And I tried to look for any follow-up emails after that, but I can't find anything.
So I'm not sure, and Marissa, if you can chime in here to correct me. If the bench warrant, it's the one, it's for the case for which we will be sending her to treatment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I would imagine that when we get the date from Aliviane, I am going to release her. There will be an order releasing her to Aliviane, and so there will no longer be a hold, right?
Correct.
And we'll have modifications and all of those things. Marissa, do we need anything else? Or Ms. Dominguez? Sorry.
No, Judge.
Okay. So we're just waiting for Aliviana, Ms. Magaña. So as soon as we have a date, that's when I'm going to order her to be released to Aliviane. And that will be the modification, and she'll continue on probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Carla?
No, Your Honor, I just came across that one email.
We'll just need the order to release on that as well. So when that gets done. Mr. Huffman?
Thank you, Judge. No, that'll work.
So the next one is going to be Mr. Romero, and then we'll come back to your guy.
Honor.
And Monday, who is that?
May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Magaña. Thank you for
Thank
making
you.
those efforts.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And so, Mr. Nanez, we need a breakout room for the annex, Mr. Morales, and then eventually Mr. Huffman.
Yes, ma'am. Annex, could we get Zoilo Romero?
Mr.
Yeah,
Martinez, if you'll also stand by, because yeah, I believe the attorneys are going to want to talk to you.
Annex, could you select the breakout room right now?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll stand by.
Ivan,
Yes, sir.
Ivan. So
We're still not in the breakout room.
yeah, they're gonna switch my client over real quick, and I'll go in there.
If you could select it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, Ivan, I needed to talk to you first.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yeah, I needed to talk to Ivan first real quick, but then
Yes, if we just get the annex to close all rooms.
yeah, just have them sit tight.
Yes, sir, my mistake. Let me do it again. And let's go to breakout rooms.
What do you want to do with this one, Ivan?
I think we're close.
Yeah,
it's
we
not
just
like-
need to decide, man. I just don't like the safe P, dude. He's been in custody for like 18 months.
Let me look up your guy again. Just like,
I think the deferred is fine. I would take it to trial if he wasn't habitualized, Ivan.
no, I know, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's a
ugh,
shitty case, but he's habitualized. So I don't know,
that's the X factor, right?
yeah.
It's like there's a steep downturn.
Yeah, I mean, because the case is pretty crappy, except he's habitualized, so the risk is huge. And I don't think he wants to risk that, but I think we can do something with it.
Trying to find your guy here. He's doing 16 pages long. Okay, here we go. All right. Mr. Zolo Romero. Let me pull it real fast. Well, you're right. It's been in jail 435 days.
Mhm.
That's a good amount. Let's see here.
I mean, there's no physical injuries. There's just a brandishing of a weapon, some chase, and like I said, if he wasn't habitualized, I'd try this every day and twice on Sunday. But
And it
it's a
looks
big
like
risk.
our guy, the
Yeah.
the victim. Guys, are we on YouTube right now? I mean, or no?
I don't think so. Are we? No.
Get off of YouTube.